so that I could do a video or a live stream like I'm doing now inside, and it'd be nice and bright. So before I get into today's main topic, I'm going to show you a picture and how to do a bit of a rant. I've already kind of done a rant as usual. Okay. So I have some pictures here that I have collected as examples of stuff that I've talked about in my previous streams and shit. Remember when I used to talk, when I used to do streams and stuff about, and somewhere within the streams I would talk about shit. I would talk about how it kind of pisses me off that whenever they do films or TV programs or whatever, where they showed men naked or shirtless or whatever, they always showed like really muscular men, usually with six-pack abs or whatever. Well, I always tried to describe the kind of men that I would prefer to see go shirtless, if not fat men. Because I still think that they would be attractive even by mainstream women who are into the usual muscular crap. So here's an example. Hang on, that's not a good example. This is a better one. Still a body type I still quite like, but there's an example of a body type that I still think would look good going shirtless in movies or TV programs or like magazines and billboards and shit where they show men sort of modelling swimwear or underwear, so on and so forth, or pools. Like you get even on kiddies pools, you get like a family modelling people in the pool, and it's usually muscular men in there as well. And it's like, you do realise a dad would have a dad bod, right? And probably be older. The dad's not going to be like a teenager with a six-pack body. Really, seriously. It just doesn't look right that you've got these two model-like people with children. I'm just saying that looks good enough. Like, what's wrong with that look? Like, even people who are not into fat men, wouldn't they still like that? I mean, that's just still, it's still muscular and well built, but he has like a layer of fat on him. Now that guy is actually a guy I found on the dating site that I'm on called Fet, that I told you about. And I was talking to him, but he, of course, like all the others, have stopped talking to me. I would have loved to have met up with him and had a date with him, to be honest, because he's good looking as well as like he has a good body, in my opinion. Like, even as a person who's not like mainly into fat people, he has a good body as far as I'm concerned. That even, like I say, mainstream women would find that attractive, I'm pretty sure. So I just think it's very odd. And I've got this one for an example of the body type that I don't much care for. Here we go. So that's the kind that they usually show shirtless or like modelling things. Hang on, it's not behaving itself. You can't really see the definition. It just looks like a splodge of white, but there you go, never mind, it's shit. I'm sorry about the lighting. There's like screen showing another screen, plus there's a light there that's bright. But that's pretty similar to the type that they usually show. And it's like, to me, that doesn't look attractive at all, if I'm honest. But a guy with a bit of meat on his bones does look quite nice. Here's another one. It's darker, so you might be able to see it better. So that's another example of someone who looks pretty good. So that's that. And the other topic that I wanted to discuss was the title says like anti-elite. That's not me, by the way. I'm not actually talking about that stuff. Like, I'm pro anti-elite. To be honest, I don't give a shit. But I've been hearing a lot lately, like, especially on this date. I'm on this dating site called Hinge at the moment, and I've noticed a lot of the people on there are like liberals and far left type people. And a lot of them are also like, oh, down with whatever, down with rich people, down with the government. I don't get it. I don't really know the language very good. These people know better than me because I have no clue. But I get the general gist, and that's basically that they're anti-rich people, anti-sort of elite, and anti basically world leaders, I guess, like the government and anybody in charge in the government. They're like anti all of that. And I just want to like address how contradictory it is, as well as the fact that I don't really care for it that much. Sure, you're not just like messing. I'm trying to find one now, so that I can just quote what they've said, because they obviously talk about this stuff way better than I can explain it. But you get the gist. Ugh. Another thing that pisses me off about this thing is everybody doesn't use Messenger anymore. You know, Facebook Messenger. Everyone uses fucking WhatsApp or fucking that other one, Snapchat. It's like I don't like those apps very much, because if my storage is low, it won't let me use WhatsApp. And with Snapchat, it deletes the messages, and you have to deliberately save each message, and I find that a pain in the ass. Like back in the olden days when I first got it, you could set it so that it saved everything. It saved the messages forever. Like you had the option to save messages forever, but now it doesn't have that option. But you can save them forever, but you have to do each individual one and tap them. Which isn't so bad, I suppose, but if you forget to do it and you end up losing a message, you think, oh shit. Like sometimes I have not saved a message, and I like messages to be saved so that I know what I've talked about in the past with each person, so I can remember them better. But if they delete, I might forget like who I'm talking to. Plus the avatars are all like these cartoon things, and I don't always remember who's who. Because although the avatars look as close as damn it to the real people, they still all look the same to me. You know, just a cartoon character, but they might have wispy hair, or they might have blonde hair, or whatever. They might have a beard. You know, to me they all look the same, but they've got these features. So I don't always recognize like who's who, because I tend to recognize people by their profile picture rather than Josh's. There's millions of Kyles. There's millions of Alexes. And if they've got more unique names, I still could just like forget who they are. Or Matt's. Matt's is another one. Anyway. So yeah, anyway. So this person wants Instagram. I don't really communicate with people that often through Instagram. I don't really check the messages that often. I'm old fashioned. I prefer text or messenger, but I can see that's dying out now, unfortunately. So yeah, that's sad. And that's another thing that pisses me off. I've noticed that everything that I like, they always like abolish. And anything that I don't like is the thing that becomes mainstream and the most popular thing. Excuse me. Full of catarrh as usual. I think it's like permanent at this point. I'd have to go back on a wheat and gluten-free diet again, but no way I want to do that, because that was a very restrictive diet. Very boring and very restrictive diet. I can't do it. I mean, I love my food. Anyway. So. What? Alright. Sorry, I thought I found the person. Anyway, so supposedly all these people, like it seems like the majority, it might not be, but it seems like the majority are like this anti-elite, anti-rich people, because I suppose they believe that everybody should be equal, like everybody should have an equal amount of money. So they shouldn't be people that are like have loads and loads of money, and then people who have, you know, a small amount of money and can barely survive day-to-day life. I kind of agree with that, but I don't really, although I agree with that, I don't really agree with the views, especially as a lot of people are contradictory. So, for example, everybody's anti-rich, and another thing that's not as extreme as anti-rich, but a lot of people are like, oh, I'm not impressed by wealth, and I'm not impressed by people who buy have like fancy things and so on and so forth, like a big house, a fancy car, you know, £1 million shoes, £1 million handbag and stuff like that. So a lot of people say that, or people say, oh, I'm not bothered about being rich or owning fancy things and stuff like that. So it seems like the majority are like that now. But yeah, check this out. Check this treat out that I got for you. Ta-da! I picked this up just for a laugh, just because I mainly read these things for research. Like my mum, she was shocked when she saw this. She assumed I bought this because I'm actually looking to buy stuff from this. Like, oh, I've picked up a clothing catalogue because I'm after actually buying the clothes from it. It's like, no. The reason why I pick up these like fashion magazines and stuff is for research, because I am a fashion person and I do have a fashion blog. So I like to keep up to date with what people, I suppose, what's like in fashion at the moment. And I'm not going to lie, a lot of this stuff looks nothing like what I see people wearing out and about. But still, it's good for research because I can kind of say in my blog and do an article about, oh, look at this stuff. I don't see anybody out and about wearing it. And I know right now. Have you seen the prices of this shit? So on the one hand, everybody's anti-rich and oh, I don't want to be rich and I'm not asked about fancy things and all that shit. I guess this is M&S. I mean, have you actually seen anybody out and about dressed like this? I mean, I fucking haven't. They look like red. They look like they're gonna rob your house, I'm not gonna lie. That does not look very comfortable. A coat with a sequin lining on the inside. Ugh. I mean, it looks horrible. I'm not gonna lie. This fashion is not special to me. I mean, it looks kind of nicer than some, but it's like not special. I guess it's not. It's nothing. If I saw people out and about wearing that, I wouldn't know if they're rich or not. To be honest, like you could tell back in the olden days, because poor people would wear more plain clothes, and then rich people would wear more sort of fancy, embroidered, lacy, frilly, bejeweled, detailed clothes back in the Victorian era and the Regency era and all past eras. Like, yeah, so you could kind of tell the peasants from the rich back then, because they would wear like beiges and browns and darker colors, like plain ordinary colors, whereas the rich would wear reds and purples and bright colors, and they'd be like frilly and ruffly and sequiny or whatever the fancy shit that they would wear and be decked out in. So a lot of this stuff still looks like the kind of stuff that poorer people would wear back in the Victorian era, but the passing it off as this is what rich people would wear, apparently. So check this out. So you've got that. To me, that's nothing special. I mean, it's kind of nice, but I really don't like the fact that it's like bright red with like beige. That kind of looks a bit, I don't really like the color scheme there. But it's just a piece of material. I mean, this to me looks like a bodysuit, like a full bodysuit. Like what do they call it? What do they call a full bodysuit? Like a catsuit or jumpsuit? It looks like a jumpsuit. That looks like flares to me. But according to this thing here, it says it's a coat, a bodysuit, a skirt, a hat, boots. Okay. Well, isn't that a gap there? I mean, that looks like flared out trousers, and it's like all in one. It's the same color as that, so to me that looks like an all-in-one top and trousers instead of like separate top and trousers. It looks like an all-in-one to me. But a bodysuit is actually it's like swimsuit style, where it's got like the thing that goes there and it clasps together, usually with their press studs, and it's usually like long sleeved or it might be short sleeved. But either way, it's like a thing that goes under your crotch anyway. Anyway, just like to point out that this little tiny piece of material that apparently is just a top, not a top and apparently it's a top and skirt, so it's just a top basically. This top that looks very plain to me, it doesn't look fancy, it doesn't look expensive at all, but it costs £5,500 for a bodysuit. So if you was to buy that, and who first of all, who's going to buy that? A millionaire. Only a millionaire could afford to pay that amount of money for a fucking little tiny bit of material that just covers your top half. Okay, it's not made of gold. Okay, it's not made of silver. It's not made of anything particularly fancy. I got this for about £3 at a charity shop, dude. And this, I think this was from a charity shop too. And it's a pretty nice shirt. Like, who's paying these prices? So millionaires who are just being pretentious, or maybe even people that this is way out of their price range, but they're just buying it specifically so that they can come across as bigger and richer and posher than they actually are. Because there are a lot of ordinary people who are not rich that do buy a bunch of designer clothes, and it's just for the image. So that's what I'm saying about contradictory. So if someone is buying this stuff when you can get way cheaper alternatives, it's like, why are they buying something that ordinary for such a high price? It's for the status thing. So on the one hand, everyone's all like, ugh, you know, I hate rich people and I don't want to be rich and blah 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 blah. But then on the other hand, the paying £5,000 just for a bit of a material that's nothing special. It's like this. It's just a bit of fabric, but they're paying thousands of pounds for it. And there's a waistcoat in here too that's even fucking worse. It's like £49,000 for a waistcoat. I could make this shit. And I'm pretty sure nobody would be paying those prices. We've got handbags here. Now, these are small. They don't look big. And they don't look like anything special. There's one here that's just like, looks really tiny to me. And it doesn't look special. Like I say, I can get this crap from charity shops. And it's 1,235 just for that. Look at these handbags. I mean, they're very pricey. Like, who's paying this shit? And here's one here that looks like way more fancy. But that's only $415. Like, what makes that 1,235? It looks the same size as this. That's just £415. It looks a bit more fancier, I guess. That pink one there. It's like way cheaper, but still expensive for a handbag. They're all different prices as well. They all look the same to me, and they're all like different prices. But like I say, even if I was rich, I wouldn't pay these prices. I just go to charity shops and buy stuff for £3. Not because I'm a tight ass, but I just think it's crazy. The only time I would splash out is if I needed a new appliance or a car. You know, I mean, these are car prices, not money that these people are paying for handbags and shoes. You could buy a car for, or an appliance. In fact, a lot of appliances are like £60. This is like way more than an appliance. Some appliances are £60, yeah. I think I actually can't remember. But either way, they're still high prices. The only time I would pay that much money is for appliances and cars, things that generally do cost a bit more, like in the 200, hundreds and thousands. It's usually things like appliances and cars and a house. And the waistcoat that I said was definitely a house price. So you're basically paying for a waistcoat when you could be buying a house for that price. Where is it now? And we've got 17.50, 25. I mean, 25 is still quite expensive, but we're not. Here we go. Oh, sorry, I was mistaken. It's not £49,000. Like I said, it was actually just like $49.99, but it's still a lot of money just for a waistcoat. It's a nice waistcoat and all, but still, so ridiculous. $49.99, and then there's a necklace here for £90. I'm like, who's paying that? I can get jewelry for like a few quid as well, and it's still pretty good. £59 for a belt. Oh, here we go. Here's another one. Right, here's a dress for $225. It looks like a nightie, seriously. It looks like a freaking camisole slip. I just wouldn't pay this prices. Trainers for $125. Keyring for $29. A hat for $25. A handbag for $250. I mean, they're just like all over the place, these prices. But apparently the shoes and handbags are way more than clothes. Like, the clothes are more useful than a handbag because you wear them to keep you warm. The only time that you could justify paying these prices for these things is if you're going to wear that same thing for the rest of your life, it's going to last you. If I wanted something custom, I could understand it being pricey. If you wanted something custom, like made to measure, made to fit you, then yeah, I could understand it being high prices. But yeah, I would say that's really ridiculous. And it's really contradictory to what people are always going on about, like rich people don't impress them, being rich doesn't impress them, expensive stuff doesn't impress them. But then on the other hand, they're selling this stuff, and I know these people are selling it. It's kind of like not their fault. Like it's not them being stupid. It's the fact that people would actually pay these prices for this kind of stuff, which to me all look ordinary. I mean, that dress just looked like a nightie. It didn't look like anything special. That bodysuit doesn't look like anything special. It's just a red top, like a sort of polo neck. I don't think it's a polo neck, but you know what I mean. It's kind of like polo neck, high neck thing. I mean, my mum has bought that kind of stuff. She's got loads of all-in-ones, you know, loads of bodysuits, and I'm pretty sure she didn't pay those prices for them. You certainly couldn't buy many of them if they all cost that amount. Like, I could imagine people paying for them if that's all you could get. Like, if all clothes were those prices and you couldn't get cheaper options, then I kind of understand. But when there's cheaper options of the exact same things, that's when I don't get it. And it kind of pisses me off that people are actually, I mean, they must be buying these things for these prices. And those people selling them are just like, ha ha ha, sucker, or whatever. And it's like, yeah, they are. I wouldn't. And I would urge everybody to not bother buying this stuff. I'm serious, you can buy much better, much fancier, more interesting clothes for as little as £3. Some of them, in fact, I was in a charity shop yesterday and there was this gorgeous blouse. It had all this frilly ruffly stuff. It was purple. Nice sort of puffy sleeves, very fancy. And it was like £2.50, I think it was. Again, why would you pay those prices for ordinary clothes when you can get fancy clothes for £2, £3, £4? Why? So I'm making this video to make people aware of the hypocrisy of it. About how people are all anti-rich and anti-elitist, but still they're all paying those prices for ordinary clothes. And it's also about the fact that I think it's ridiculous when you can get like way nicer stuff for way cheaper. Like I say, if you wanted something more rare, like, you know, I really like Lolita clothes, for example, or Gothic clothes. Now, the majority of Gothic clothes are quite expensive, and the majority of Lolita clothes are quite expensive. Like, some of them are in the hundreds. You can get cheaper than that. But, I mean, the cheapest one I got was £30. And that's still moderately expensive for a garment. But that's like the cheapest that it comes in Lolita. So if you want specialized clothes like Lolita or Victorian or Gothic or whatever, like a fursuit or something, if it's something specialized, then I can understand it being like people buying, like paying those prices, because that's all you can get. You can't get much cheaper than what I bought, which was, like I say, £30 for that skirt that you see me wear, that Lolita skirt. So yeah, that's the only time I would pay those prices for clothes, is if it was something specialized and you couldn't get cheaper versions. That's the only time. So yeah. So there you have it. So that's the only time I would pay. So obviously, as I am now, I couldn't afford even that stuff. I couldn't even afford Lolita, except if I just got one outfit. And just whenever I wanted to dress Lolita, just wear that. But I certainly couldn't replace my entire wardrobe with Lolita stuff. Like, there are some Lolita people who have replaced their entire wardrobe with exclusively Lolita clothes. Maybe they have the odd casual clothes for when you know, something that they are doing requires them to be wearing more casual clothes or normal clothes. for the majority of the time they do just wear Lolita. So they have replaced their entire wardrobe with Lolita, and I'm thinking, how do they do it? I mean, these are ordinary Joes, they're not even rich. That was years ago that I got that skirt. I haven't managed to get anything else. As for my top halves that match the skirt, I just bought them from like Asda or charity shops or whatever, and it's stuff that does go nicely with the skirt, so it's not authentic Lolita, but it can pass. Like that white frilly blousey thing that I've got, and I've got a blue like short sleeved top, which is short sleeve, but I can still wear it in winter if I wore it over the top of a long sleeve top. Ow. Ooh. So I also make things so that I can wear it both winter and summer as well. And you know, rich people, they buy this expensive stuff, but they only wear it once. You know that as well. I mean, I don't know if they do that now, but I know they used to do it back in the olden days, in the Victorian era. They used to buy these expensive clothes. When I say buy, they'd have them made. They had all these beautiful, fancy, expensive clothes made. Then they'd wear it once and then never wear it again, then buy something new every time. So they don't even make it to last. So they buy expensive clothes and they don't even make it last. That's even more ridiculous. So they can just afford to just buy something very expensive, wear it once, and then throw it away. Or donate it, or whatever they did. Not really sure. I suppose, obviously, if they kept it all, they probably would be finding it hard to store them after a while. See, this how, like I say, that was their thing. They were very, wear an outfit once. They always had to be seen in something different every time they were seen. So that's very wasteful, in my opinion. Waste of money and clothes. I could do it anyway if I like something. I've worn this outfit now about 3 times, I think. I do try and swap and change, so I'm not always seen in the same thing, but I do eventually rotate back to the same thing eventually. But after a while, I try to wear as much different clothing in between and then go back to the same thing eventually. So I am always seen as something different. But I'm not wasteful and just buy one thing and then wear it once and then never wear it again, unless I don't like it. Then I might. I've got to go now because I've got to make a dinner. It's my mum's sort of birthday. It's actually the anniversary of when she had her heart attack about 7 years ago. So 7th birthday today, 7th anniversary of surviving her heart attack. So I'm about to make her a nice dinner. It's not like a Christmas dinner. It's not going to be as huge and as much food as that, but it's going to be like a small version of a Christmas dinner. So just some spuds, some veg, sausages, and I'm going to try Richmond sausages because they're more this kind of thing. I'll probably have one Linda McCartney, one Richmond. Let's see what else am I going to put with it. So there's going to be the veg, broccoli, cauliflower, corn? No, I don't normally have corn in this. Carrots. I'm trying to think what else. Yorkshire puddings. I'm not sure if we've got any. But maybe. Gravy, of course. That's it. So a bit of everything, but like a smaller version. Smaller portion. So that it's still special for Christmas. I was hoping to have a takeaway tonight, actually. I was hoping we could have a curry or something. My mum wanted McDonald's, but she pointed out that we will be having chips tomorrow and she doesn't like to have too many chips. I've actually had chips today as well. But she doesn't realise with this dinner we're still having potato. Oh well, she doesn't like to have too much potato. Because I suppose she's kind of allergic to it. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do now. So, see you guys later. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and see my other earlier videos. I've uploaded a bunch of videos. I'm still to make them public. I've just got to monetize them first, and then I'll make them public. But I keep forgetting to do it. I have to do it on the computer. It used to automatically monetize, like, you know, when you upload the videos, it used to automatically monetize, so you could make them public straight away, but it doesn't do that anymore. And for some reason, it won't, when I edit it, it won't let me monetize them on the phone version of YouTube, but it'll let me do so on the computer, so I have to wait till I go on the computer, go through them, monetize them, and then make them public. that's what I've got to do now, which is a pain in the ass. It used to be dead simple before. I used to just be able to make them public straight away because they'd automatically monetize them. Now you have to do it manually. And some of them, you know, especially my live streams, go through without even being monetized, and I don't read public. And it had like 15,000 views on it. And it wasn't monetized. I was so pissed when I found out I had a really popular video and it wasn't monetized. So all these 15,000 views could have been making me money all this time. So I'm really pissed. It's monetized now, but unfortunately I think I made it private. I can't remember what I did. I'll have to find it again. And of course, if you want to see it, you'll have to go to my Patreon. I can't remember if I actually put it on Patreon by now. But if not, I'm planning on doing. I've been neglecting my Patreon. I don't think I've done anything for this month so far. So I'm going to do something soon. I've got a bunch of videos in line for putting on there. I've got some older videos from when I was fatter, and I've got some recent videos as well because I have put on weight again, so I'm still pretty fat at the moment. So I've got them for Patreon. Oh, and also don't forget, I'm also selling a bunch of stuff as well. Trying to do a clear out of this house. As you can tell, it's cluttered, so I'm really trying to get rid of stuff. I've got 3 bags for charity now, and I've got a box that I'm filling with stuff I'm selling. So I figured I may as well earn some money on some of it as well. So you can see I've got like a whole warehouse full of bits and bats and crap. So if anybody is interested, I've got 2 scooters, mobility scooters for sale. I've got an electric or whatever you want to call it, normal stand upright scooter for like kids, you know, with the handlebar and they stand on it and what have you. Got one of them, it's blue, electronic scooter. I don't like it because it's got tiny wheels, so if you do something wrong you end up getting caught on a curb or whatever, or I think because it's got all this mechanism underneath. It's not like the ones now that are dead fancy, they're just like dead thin like this, and then they've got like big wheels. It's not like that one like you can get now. It's like huge, like a huge freaking mechanism underneath the thing that you stand on, the platform or whatever, I don't know what you call that bit that you stand on, but it's got that, although that's thin, it's got all this crap underneath it. So if the ground is a bit bumpier, like if it's grass or there's like a curb that you try to go over, it will get caught under all of that. And the wheels are small, so it's not really for me. So if you buy it from me, it's good. It's just that you have to just use it on concrete. You can't use it on bumpy ground. I mean, you could try, it might be okay. So yeah, one moment please. Okay, probably sure let's do it in that big pan though. We're not really having that many potatoes. Potatoes. Yeah, so I've got basically 3 scooters, 2 mobility scooters and 1 normal electric scooter. I stand on, and anybody can, you know, kids, teenagers, adults can use it. You know, I'm an adult and I bought it when I was an adult, so I've been using it. I've got a Nintendo DS for sale. I've got a car for sale. I've got these plastic dressing tables for sale, like kiddies plastic dressing tables. 2 of those, different designs. One's like pink, blue and white, and the other one is like it's got like a flower shaped mirror, and it's like pink, yellow and dark green, dark pink, purple, bright yellow and dark green. So it's not pastel colours, it's more deeper versions. Yeah, I suppose I could do the big one for veg and then I could do the little pan for the potatoes. Better hurry, it's getting late. Right, okay. Put that on, that's going to take for freaking ever. I haven't even put it on. Oh yeah, before I stop the stream, just want to show you real quick my tights, if you can see them. They've got skull and crossbones on them for Halloween. I don't really like these, only because I don't like the fact that they're sheer. And I don't like the fact that the freaking skull and crossbones are at the back rather than the front. I think they'd look better if they were like at the front. I don't know why they're at the side and the back. That is where they land naturally. That's what you see, they just look like ordinary tights. I think they'd be better if they were like solid black with skulls. Whatever. Anyway, I've got pure black ones with the spider webs on them, so I'll be wearing these and the spider web ones throughout October. And of course, I will probably do a few streams and videos of me in different costumes throughout October as well. So that's what's coming up. Then you've seen me wear them before. But I'm not going to tell you how. You just have to wait and see. It's going to be brilliant. And I'm looking forward to Halloween. Do you wish I had like proper solid plans for Halloween though? I am trying to put together like a furry meet for Halloween, so we both be like furry meet come like costume thing. I have no clue where to advertise it, so I'm advertising it here. So yeah, doing a furry meet for October. So yeah, I don't know of any like Halloween events going on in my area. Alright, so that's all for now. Thanks for watching. When people do watch, like hopefully they'll watch later on, because nobody's watching it right now. So hopefully people will watch it later on. And if you're interested in any of the stuff I'm selling, I will put links in the description below to the things that I'm selling. I'll be putting them on eBay, and I'm thinking of maybe perhaps making like an Etsy shop for my homemade stuff as well. I'm thinking of making a bunch of stuff with this. I've got this 3D pen with filament, which is the stuff that's used as like the ink to make the stuff. And it basically dries and it's solid, so you can make stuff like figurines and stuff. So I'm thinking of making some of them and putting them on Etsy. And my characters, Jeremiah and Lino, and the fluffs. I think a fluff version of these things would be absolutely adorable. Okay, that's all for now.